Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Elizabeth Sullivan and I'm the oboe teacher at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. Today I'll be playing the 11th and 12th grade district solo selection. This is an excerpt from the Paul Hindemith Sonata for oboe. This is the first movement going from measure 1 to the caesura that is located at the end of the second page if you're using the Schott publication. I hope that playthrough will be helpful for you as you make your preparations for the 11th and 12th grade district solo selection. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Elizabeth Sullivan from the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, coming to you today to talk about preparations for the 11th and 12th grade district solo selection. This year it's Paul Hindemith's Sonata for oboe and piano. This is most of the first movement. And I have a couple of areas where you should pay particular attention when you are making your preparations. The first aspect we should talk about are the switchings between meter, going from 2/4 to 3/8, and then from 3/4 to 5/8. So we're going to pay careful attention to the measure and 2 measures after rehearsal 1, and the 4, 3, 2, and 1 measures before rehearsal 4. If you can practice those particular sections, you'll transfer that knowledge to the second page where the repeat happens. Starting at rehearsal 1, if we're thinking about being in 2/4, it is marked at the beginning of the movement at quarter note equals 120. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and 2, and 1, 2, 3. And so we want to be sure that we keep the 8th note steady. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and. I would recommend practicing rehearsal 1 slowly with the eighth note pulse on. 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 1, and stop on the downbeat when we return back to 2, 4. That would sound like this. 1 and 2 and. It's important to practice it slow so that you can hear that the eighth note is going to stay the same. Otherwise, many students turn that 3/8 measure into a quarter note valued triplet, and that will not be rhythmically accurate to what he has written on the page. So 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3. Practice it really slowly and then speed it up. And you'll do that each time that the meter changes from 2/4 to 3/8. Similarly, down getting close to rehearsal 4, you would do the same thing. Practice the 3/4 measures, 1 and 2 and 3 and 5/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back to 3/4 with the eighth note pulse on. I'll start slowly before rehearsal 4, 4 measures with the pickup, thinking about the eighth note pulse. 1 and 2 and 3. Again, practicing it slow will ensure that your eighth note stays the same no matter what meter you're in. The next item to draw your attention to is at the top of the second page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 measures before rehearsal 6. There is an error in this publication. It is marked as a 3/4 measure. If you do the music math, though, you can see that it is actually supposed to be a 3/8 measure, like what happens just a few measures before. So be on the lookout for that. Some final words of wisdom when we're looking at the second page, starting after the fermata and going all the way to the caesura at the bottom of the page. Much of this section is marked forte. We really only get some small reprieves when we're marked mezzo forte. I strongly suggest that you make some decisions on where you can bring the dynamic down. It is quite taxing to have to play forte for the entire page. So for example, in my own interpretation, I begin the section after the fermata maybe more at a mezzo piano so that I have room to then come up to mezzo forte at rehearsal 7, and I choose places like before rehearsal 9. It's marked forte, but I play that section forte, and then at rehearsal 9, I bring it back a dynamic level. Choosing those places will give your face a little bit of a rest, and it gives your audience a little bit of a reprieve from that loud dynamic the entire time. It'll make your performance much more compelling and exciting to listen to. Last rhythmic note for you is down in the section between rehearsal 10 and 11. You've got some quarter note triplets that you are going to have to manage. Now here, instead of keeping the eighth note steady in your mind as you're counting, keep the quarter note steady. We're still at 120. 1, 2, 1, 2, triplet, triplet, and then you're moving forward with eighth notes. So your triplet has to fit evenly over the 3 notes over the 2 beats in the bar. So your middle note is going to occur kind of approximately in the middle of beat 2 and dividing that measure up. So be on the lookout for that. Other sections, working on your high notes, they're especially towards the end. Keep your fingering chart handy to choose the fingerings that work best for you and work best for your instrument. I hope you've had a good time with us today, and I hope that these suggestions will help your preparation for this year's district solo.